you the next operator called logical operators. So there are three logical operators actually. Okay, there are three logical operators. Can I just have a word from your side? Like, what are the logical operators we have in Python? So already, let me just give a quick review. In the last session, we talked about relational operator. Okay, we seen that there are six relational operators: less than, greater than, less than, equal to, greater than, equal to, and not equal to. We also had a comparison between double equals and single equal, how they are different from each other. Then we talked about like why what exactly the relational operator is used for. Okay, and then we talked about few points like we can apply this for other data type as well, like float, string, list, and except boolean and dictionary. We also talked about like left operand and the right operand should be of same time, otherwise we will get error in these operator. But equality operators like equal and not equal will always performs the content comparison, not the addresses. Both operands must be of same type, otherwise it will return false, it will not give error. That's, these are the some of the points we discuss about the relational operator. And very good, thank you. These are the three relational operators, logical operators we got. The three logical Yeah, guys, we try to connect. Let's see how much we can manage. Okay, there's a power cut again. So let's see how much we can manage. Okay, so if power comes on time, it will be better. So let's go here and talk about. Thank you, Satyam. So let's talk about these logical operators. Okay, as you all said, perfectly correct. We have three logical operators. We have logical operator and, we have logical operator or, and we have logical operator not. Okay, we have these three logical operators are available. Okay, and if you are from other programming language background, then obviously the symbol is different there. Okay, we used to have a symbol like double ampersand, we used to have a symbol like double or, and we used to have a symbol like not. So these are the symbols we use for logical operators in other languages like C++ and Java. At least you will not find these operators in Python. The reason is they are less readable. So Python people has decided that it's very difficult for the layman to understand this operator. And I hope we all at the beginning of our career in programming languages, we face a lot of problem with these operators, right? We generally get a doubt like what is this 2 ampersand is all about? What is this 2 pi symbol is all about? When we start using them, we realize, okay, this is for and this is used to connect the operations and all. Then we started understanding them. So Python says that I will not make you confused with these operators. Okay, we'll make it with English like phrases called and, or, and not. So please remember, we don't find this double ampersand, double or, and not symbol. Generally the people who are from different language background, generally we get confused with these operators. I hope there is no confusion now, that there is no double ampersand or and not symbol. I hope there is no confusion. I hope all can able to hear me. Yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. First thing is that there is no double and, double or, and not operator. If you are new to programming language, don't worry. These are the three operators we have. Don't worry about it. If you are from C, Java, or C++ background, or any other programming language background where you have used these operators for connectivity, then we don't have these operators. Please don't use in Python. Don't try to use this in Python. You will end up with an error. So we have English like phrases like and, or, and not. Okay, this is first thing. Second question, that why we use this logical operator? Why we use this logical operator? Let's make it fast because we don't know when the system will get turned off, but we'll make sure it will be connected. I'll just change a little bit of battery setting. Uh, as it is given for 20%, I'll make it for 5%. Okay, to combine relational expressions. Very good, Vamshi. Conditional statement for conditional statement. Okay, I'll go with Vamshi. That is the exact definition what we got. Why we use this logical operator is to combine relational expression. Okay, the actual answer is to combine two or more, to combine two or more relational expressions. Okay, to combine two or more relational expression. So if you have two or more relational expression and you wanted to take a combined result of that, then always we make use of this logical operator. Always we make use of this logical operator. Example, let me talk about an example now. For example, I have given you a scenario that you have to make a situation, like you have two situations, two criteria. Okay, or else I will ask you a question, like for example, that I have checked the percentage of a person and his percentage is more than 65. I check the percentage of the user and the percentage is more than 65. Tell me whether he passed in the exam or not. Very good. Yeah, we'll talk about it. But my question is, I told you that some guy got a percentage more than 65, and suppose the passing criteria is 40%. If he get 40%, he passed actually. He got more than 65 actually. So whether he passed or failed, okay? Everybody thinks he passed, but guys, the situation is not easy. Okay, because based on percentage itself, you cannot take decision. Okay, based on percentage itself you cannot take decision. Very good, Vamshi. We have to check the each subject marks as well. Do you all agree? He may get full marks in few subjects, and he may get zero marks or less marks in other subjects. So directly by looking at the percentage you cannot take decision, guys. Okay, that's what in programming we have to check all criterias. In programming we have to check all criterias actually. Now what we do is we go further and we check individual subject marks. We'll check individual subject mark. We will check that whether subject marks is greater than 40 or not. Yes, Vishwajit, Vamshi is very good suggestions today. Means giving good answers and good suggestions. That's perfectly correct. That we have to check the each subject mark. We have to check whether the subject 1 marks is greater than 40. Okay, is it enough to check subject 1, or should we check subject 2, subject 3, subject 4, subject 5 as well? All subjects, right? So we also have to check whether subject 2 is greater than or equal to 40, and we also have to check subject 3 is greater than or equal to 40. Let's imagine there are only 3 subjects now. Based on that, we have to calculate the percentage. Now there are three relational expression or three relational expression. Now we have to combinedly take the result. We have to combinedly take the result. If first one is true, second one is also true, third one is also true, then only I must result, the final expression should result true. Then what we will do is we will combine these expression with and actually. We'll combine this expression with and operator, because I'll say that if subject 1 is greater than 40 and subject 2 is greater than 40 and subject 3 is greater than 40, then only if all of them result true, then only it will result true. If any one of them result false, then it will result false. Because the truth table for and, the truth table for and is, okay, if both of them are true in and, the result will be true. If any one of them is false, the result will be false. If any one of them is false, the result will be false. Obviously, if both the expression results false, the result will be false. So that's why we combine with and now, so that if all the three subjects greater than 40, then only this will result true, otherwise it will result false. Otherwise, it will result false. For example, in one subject, he got 39, which is not greater than or equal to 40. If any one of them result false, then the output will be false then. So it means that if he failed in any one subject, the result will be false. The result will be false. So that's why we use this thing to combine two or more relational expression. We use this to combine two or more relational expression actually. Okay, so that's why we use this logical operator. Similarly, we have another logical operator called OR. Okay, where if any one of them is true, the result will be true. If any one of them will be true, the result will be true. Sorry, the last one will be false, because if both of them are false, then only the result will be false. Okay, so where we use or operator, when we have to make sure that any one of the condition is true, I must get the result as true, then we can make use of this or operator. Anyhow, we have some exercises to deal with. Let us go and talk about this logical operator called and or. Let me give you one more scenario. Let me give you one more scenario where we can use logical operators again. For example, I for qualification for some interview, I got two criterias now. For the qualification for an interview, I got two criterias. What are the two criterias? For example, I want your percentage should be more than 75. I want your percentage should be more than 75, and age should be less than or equal to 25. Less than or equal to 25. If both of them satisfied, then only I can say you're qualified for an interview, otherwise not qualified. Otherwise not qualified. So how to solve this particular problem now? How to use them so that I can get the combined result? which logical operator I have to use? And or? Okay, very good. So I have to use and here now because I want both the condition to be satisfied. I want both the condition to be satisfied. So I will combine with and I will use this expression. Okay, age is less than or equal to 25. Age is less than or equal to 25. Very good. So can you give me any example where we can use or? Okay, where we can use or? And we have seen very clear, mostly we use and operator. Okay, rarely we use or and not operator in logical operator, but I hope you got very clear that we use logical operator to combine two or more relational expression. The definition says that we use logical operator to combine two or more relational expression. So whenever you have two or more relational expression and you wanted to take a combined result, then always you will combine with logical operator. Always you will combine with logical operator here now. Okay, we have seen some examples where we took a percentage and we cannot take a decision and we have to check each subject marks. So to check each subject marks, I have combined with and operator, so that if all the subjects greater than 40, then only it will result 40. If any one of the subject results false, then the output will be false because I have combined with and. In and, we know that if any of the expression results false, then the output will be false always. Then the output will be false always. So we got some couple of answers from Aditi and Ubun. If we have to choose between two subjects, like when we take best of two, we can use or. Very good, Aditi. Eligible students are either BTech or MBA. Very good, very good. Let me take one real-time example. Yeah, mobile email or mobile test case, like kind of thing. Very good. So sometimes you will log in or register and they will provide you either you can log in with email or mobile phone. So any one of the condition is true, then we will get logged in. Very good, very good, very perfect, guys. Let me take one simple example here, which we are going to implement in today's session or next session. For example, I ask you, suppose I have given you to write a program, to write a program to check, okay, to check entered character, to check entered character is vowel or consonant, to check entered character is vowel or consonant. See, there will be a little confusion, guys, to use and or. Okay, most of the time it is very clear, but sometimes it will make a little thinking to decide whether to use and or whether to use or. So can you help me out, like how to check whether you entered character is vowel or consonant? I hope you all familiar with the things called vowel and consonant. What are vowels, guys? Okay, very good. A, E, I, O, U are the vowels, and otherwise it is consonant. Can you help me with a simple code here now? How to check whether it is vowel or consonant? Only logic, guys, not a program, because still we haven't learned any conditional statements yet. Next we will learn conditional statements, so that we will implement all these programs. Actually, whatever we are talking, we're going to implement them. Okay, we are going to implement them. But can you help me out with the logic now? Can you help me out with the logic, like how to write that condition? Okay, thank you, Narendra. Thank you, Kudal. I hope I pronounce correct, Kudal, or else you can help me out. No, guys, we cannot do that because we already learned that directly we cannot deal with ASCII values here. Okay, very good, Vamshi, very good. So Vamshi is all the way today. Okay, so he's helping us a lot. If it is a vowel, then true, else consonant. Yes, Shikawat, you can tell in English, but how to write in programming sentence, that's what we have to learn here. Okay, so Vamshi is exactly correct. So suppose I have taken a value in ch, so I can check like this: ch is equal to a, okay, or ch is equal to e. No, we cannot write like that, Aditi. Okay, it must be enclosed in single quotes and it should be not comma. Okay, it should not be comma, so we have to use or here now. Why or? Because anyone can be true, right? Or ch is equal to a e I, okay? Or okay, we'll say ch is equal to o, or we will say ch is equal to u, a e I o u. Okay, so if any one of them is satisfied, I will print vowel. I will print vowel, otherwise I will print consonant. Understood everyone, that here I will use or operator to combine? That's true, Vishwajit, but is active. Okay, he's following us. That's the wonderful thing. Okay, yeah. So we can see here, right? And sometimes uh, kind of things are required, Vishwajit. Like as you said, we need to have little fun as well while learning. Otherwise, anyhow, Python is so interesting, but we can make it more interesting by uh, I hope we don't mind. Okay, Vamshi also don't mind. Okay, so yeah, that's true, Vamshi. 100. That's true. But uh, sometimes we'll pull legs. Sometimes we appreciate. Okay, so this is a part and parcel of our course. I hope nobody should mind about it because we all are in one ship now. Okay. No, we don't need for loop Udit here. Okay, we can simply do something like this. There are other ways as well. We will see all the ways when we try to implement them. Okay, by default input is string in Python, so we can write ch is equal to a. No, but this is my variable sk. This is my variable, but this is my string. This is my string. So it must be enclosed in quotation. So actually, let me talk about here. Actually, we got confusion regarding a concept called variable versus constant. Variable versus constant. So remember, variable means which varies, which available in variable actually. Okay, variable means which available in variable. We will not write in quotation actually. So ch is a variable, so we will not write in quotation. Okay, so that is why I didn't wrote any single or double quotes for the variable. Otherwise, it becomes string constant. But a here is a string constant. Okay, I'm not going to store it in any variable. I'm going to use them directly. So it must be in single quote or double quotes. Got my point? So ch is equal to a and ch is equal to a. Both are different. Here it thinks that both are variable. Okay, here he thinks that both are variable. Okay, here he thinks that ch is a variable and a is a constant. Ch is a variable and a is a constant. Getting my point, SK? But still, this problem we don't require for loop with it. Still, for this problem, we don't require for loop. Just we have to print one time it is vowel or consonant. We use loop when we have to say for number of times, when we want to iterate something. Okay, so that's why we need to understand the problem, like do we need to iterate this statement or not? We'll talk about. Anyhow, our next topic is flow control, so we'll talk about in detail about the flow control. But good that you put your point. Yes, for this example we don't need, but for future examples we may need to iterate the problems and all. For such kind of problem we don't need. But you are exactly correct that this problem can be solved in multiple ways, at least in Python. I'll show you all the way, but did you all understood the difference between and or now? Yeah, that's true. We can use if else, but simply we can solve by this way. 100%. 100%. Okay, so perfectly fine. So we conclude now that we understood what is this and operator and what is this or operator actually. So we've seen some examples, but practically we haven't implemented because we need some flow control statements as well to implement. We haven't discussed, so I'm not going to use it. Okay, I can use if else and show you, but I'm not going to do because I'm going to introduce you now one more operator by which I can execute all these problems actually. Then I will introduce flow control. Okay, otherwise it spoils the suspense and everything, or it spoils the other statements to learn. So that's why we will not introduce if else right now. Okay, because most of you may be thinking that with using if else we can solve the problem, but believe me, before learning if else you require a lot of basic knowledge to understand. So we will not introduce anything directly most of the time, so that will not make you confused. Okay, so that way we will not be introducing if else right now. Otherwise, we might have shown you the problem using if else. So it's very easy to show you all these problems implementation with if else. But wantedly, we are not introducing because we have to understand a lot before we start that if else. Okay, and now let's talk about not operator. We are very familiar with not operator. Basically, not operator will make true to false and false to true. Not operator will simply make true to false and false to true. Okay, so in most of the cases we require this not operator because the expression will result true, but we have to make it false, and if the expression result false, we have to make it true. Okay, so we have to always go reverse sometimes. Like most of the time in real time example, what happens is some function will return false, some function will return false, but you wanted to make it true. Some function return false. Suppose you store the variable in f and you want to make it they return false, but you want to make it true. Can you make it true? Yes. How you can make it true? You can simply say not f. You can simply say not f. No need for brackets. You can simply say not f because not is a keyword and f is a variable here now. So simply you can see here not f will make you true, and not true will make you false. So that way you can do it now. Let me show you practically. So I'll go with Python IDLE now. I'll go with Python IDLE and I'll show you what happens here now. What happens here? Okay. Now I'll take something like subject one. I'll show you both the way. Subject 1 is equal to 40 or 43. Okay. Subject 2, I will take it as 98. And subject 3, I will take it as 39. Subject 3, I will take it as 39. Let me calculate the percentage. So I'll calculate the percentage subject 1 plus subject 2 plus subject 3 divided by 3 will get you the percentage, and the percentage what we got, oh, it's 143. How it can be 143? Okay, you know what is wrong with this? No. You know what is wrong with this? Why we are getting 143? Let's see who will guess. We did a mistake actually. Very good, Ugul. Very good. You know what happened? Did you remember the priority of operator? So what happened is S3 divided by 3 first. Very good. So division got the highest priority. That's why S3 got divided first and then it got added. See, we end up with a mistake now because we didn't concentrate on the rules. So as we didn't concentrate on the rules, so we end up with a mistake. So that's why we will copy this again, and this time we'll make sure that we wanted to perform addition first, then we wanted to divide, so we need to compulsory put them into brackets. That's why the bracket makes sense here now. That's what is a good example. I think we missed that last time, so that's why it's good that we made a mistake and we realized that the importance of brackets. So anytime you wanted to break the priority, then you can always use the brackets. This time when I print the percentage, it got 60.0 percentage. So don't you think it's he got passed? You think it got passed? Actually, no, right? Actually, no. So you have to check all the subjects. So you have to check S1 is greater than or equal to 40, and S2 is greater than or equal to 40, and S3 is greater than or equal to 40. Then only now what it will return, true or false? What it will return now? True or false? Very good. It will return false, right? So S1 is greater than 40, S2 is greater than 40, S3 is greater than 40. So is it S1 greater than 40? Yes. 43 is greater than 40, true. Is it S2 greater than 40? Yes. 98 is greater than 40. Is it S3 greater than 40? No, false. So true and false will return you false. That's why the output will be false. That's why the output will be false now. Even though he got 60 percentage, he got false because all the subjects are not up to that marks. Like it's not got 40 marks in each subject, so this will be passed now. Okay. Similarly, if you wanted to check with or, then you can enter any character and it will tell whether it is vowel or consonant using or operator. Anyhow, we will see that practical when we go for conditional statement. Okay, we'll see it practical. Now let's get into and talk about not now. So basically, if we can say not of true, it will make it as false. Okay, when I say not of false, it will make it true. It will make it true. Very simple. It can be a variable or direct constant. It can be a variable as well. So if you have the answer in variable, you can say not of that variable. The variable value will change to false. If it is a not of false, it will make it to true now. So not will make it reverse. Okay, not will make it reverse. So shall we conclude? So we are back, guys. Okay. So we'll not leave you like that. Okay. Without conclusion, we'll not leave you. And yes, that's true. That battery was like got down. I was connected to my mobile net, but still the battery was creating little problem. I think. So let's see. Let's conclude and then leave. Okay. So are you all here? Okay, so as I told you, this is the first situation, so we are not ready for that. Next time, we'll make sure that we'll ready for this kind of situations. Okay, and thank you for all your support and all. So let's get into it and all. So we were talking about like I hope for SK is that clear? Like variable versus constant. Yeah, thank you, Shikawat. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, thank you, Satyam. Thank you for saying. So that's why we will not leave you, okay, without concluding. Because next, for 10, 15 minutes, if you can be here, we'll talk about some interesting thing about logical operator. Till now, we did nothing great, okay, because this is all you know about it, except the symbols, everything you know about it from earlier programming language, as Vishwajit already confirmed that whatever you said till now, it's same like in C language. The only thing is the operators got changed. Like instead of double ampersand, we'll use and here, and instead of double pi symbol, we will use or here. Otherwise, the usage and the examples what I took will be same in other programming language as well, right? 100%. Now let's talk about the next point here. Let's talk about the next point here. The next point I would like to talk about, the next point I would like to talk about is very important for aptitude point of view. Till now, we try to understand the basic things about logical operator. We basic thing about the logical operator. Let's try to see what kind of questions we may expect in interviews. Okay, let me show you what kind of questions we may expect in interviews now. The second point I would like to discuss now. Okay, the second point I would like to discuss here, that we can apply logical operators. We can apply logical operators for any type of data. This is very interesting. Okay, not only for relational expression, we can apply the logical operator for any type of data. Okay, for any type of data, which is generally non-Boolean type, which is nothing but non-Boolean type actually. Okay, let me add a point here. Any type of data means non-Boolean type. Non-Boolean means which does not return any Boolean result like true or false. Which does not return any Boolean result like true or false. Example, if I ask you a question, 10 and 20, 10 and 20, please tell me the answer. 10 and 20, 10 and 20. Okay, Ubul thinks the answer will be true. Why do you think the answer will be true? Why do you think the answer will be true? Why do you think the answer will be true? Ubul, SK. Okay, SK thinks non-zero will be treated as true. 10 will be treated as false. Very good. If I say 10 and 0, 10 and 0, 10 and 0, 10 and 0. Okay, the answer will be false. Why the answer will be false? Why the answer will be false? Why the answer will be false? Because 10 is treated as 1 and 0 will be treated as true. Okay, very good, very good. But all of you are correct, but your answers were wrong, guys. Okay, all of you are correct with the concept, but your answers were wrong. Shall we correct now? What will be the answer for these problems? Okay, for that you need to understand few rules. For that you need to understand few rules. Now let us talk about that rules. Couple of rules you need to understand. The answer will not be in true and false, guys. The answer will not be in true and false. That's what you need to understand. That's why I told you it will be very important interview question. There are three things hidden in it. So let us talk about it. So can we have 10 more minutes now? So to conclude this logical operator, at least for today, actually we planned for one more operator, but because of all this disturbance, we at least able to conclude logical operator. As you mentioned, sir, you mentioned you can uh, apply it for non-boolean type, but we saw in earlier example we did not true, which returns false. Yeah, actually it was a boolean, right? True is a boolean. Yeah, you whatever you said according to C it was correct, but we have to learn in Python how it is different. But as you said, it's perfectly correct. Let me talk about all the rules now. Let me talk about all the rules here. So let me talk about what are the rules you have here. The first rule, what you said is 100% correct. The first rule, what you said is 100% correct. That in Python, zero means false. Zero means false. Zero means false. Okay, and non zero or empty string, I can say zero, empty string, zero or empty string means false, means false. Okay, and non-zero, non-zero means true. Non-zero means true. This is one point as you all said. Till now, you all are correct. Means in even in Python, zero or empty strings will result you false. Non-zero means true actually. That is 100% correct. But the second rule is very important. Second rule is very important. What is this second rule actually? Second rule says that if A is true, if A is truthy, if A is truthy, then okay, meaning if A value results true, if A value results true, then A or B, A or B, and A and B. Let's say what happens if you write A or B and A and B. Means if A is true value, if A is true value, then actually it will return A here, it will return A here, and it will return B here now. It will return B here. If A is false, if A is falsy, then it will return B here, it will return B here, then it will return A here now. So the answer will not be true or false. The answer will be either A value or B value. The answer will be either A value or B value. And this concept, what we learn, this concept, what we learn is generally call it as short circuiting. Short circuit. Okay, so logical operator behaves in a short circuit way. So this knowledge is very important because they will ask in interview that what is meant by short circuit in logical operators, and also they may expect such kind of questions in aptitude exam. Understood now? Understood everyone? Yeah, I will explain with example, guys. I will explain with example now. Let me make you understand what is this example is all about. Now, for example, just now I have asked you one question. Just now I have asked you one question that 10 and 20. Now tell me what will be your answer? 10 and 20 according to the rules. Both are true, first of all. They are non-zero values, so both are true. So A is true, B is true. So what is the second table actually? Okay, Vamshi thinks it's 10. Rajshekhar thinks it's 10. Okay, Nitin thinks it's 10. Okay, actually it's not 10 guys, it is 20. Did you see the table now? Let me show you the table once again. It says that if A is truthy, then it will result B value, not A value. Got my point? If A is true, then it will result next value. What does it mean actually? What is mean by short circuit? Let us try to understand. Let us try to understand. Pay your attention here, guys. That let us try to understand why what is called short circuiting. Okay, it's very important, guys. Actually, you know what? If what is mean by 10? What is mean by 10? Let us try to understand this. What is mean by 10? To Python, according to our rule 1, what is mean by 10? True. Very good. True. 10 means true. Fine. Okay. 10 means true to Python. If first one is true, do I need to check the second in AND operator? Is it necessary to check the second expression? Imagine first expression results true. First expression results true. Do you need to check the second expression? Why, Snehal? Why you think no need for checking the second expression? Why there is no need for checking second expression? I told you that first expression is true. So my question is, do we need to check second expression? Some of them says yes, some of them says no. Yes, because, okay, very good. Yes, because second can be true or can be false. Do you agree that even though the first one is true, the result will be dependent on second one? Do you agree? Even though the first one is true, the result will be dependent on second one, right? So that's why it means that this expression is evaluated and this expression is also evaluated. That's why the result will be 20 now. Understood, everyone? It's proving that both the expressions are getting evaluated. That is called short circuiting. Short circuit means it is little intelligent now. Now the same question, if I ask you 0 and 10, tell me the answer. 0 and 10. 0 and 10. If first one is false, Snehal says, then need to check or no need to check, Snehal? If first one is false, we need to check or no need to check? No need. Very good. No need to check the second one. Of course, right? No need to check the second one. As the first one is false, we don't have to check the second one. Okay, we don't have to check the second one. That's why the result will be 0. It means it's telling you which expression is getting evaluated. Getting my point now? In AND, what happens if the first one is true, then only we'll check the second one. Then only we'll check the second one. Now, if I ask you a few more questions, like for example, if I ask you, you can have more 10 and 20 and 30 and 40 and 0. What is an answer? What is an answer? It will check all and result will be 0. Very good. It will check all. The result is not 40, guys. The result will be 0. Because it says that first one is true, okay, check second one. Second one is true, okay, check third one. Third one is true, okay, check fourth one. Fourth one is true, okay, check fifth one. Anyhow, the fifth one results false, so it will be false. So it means that it's checking all of them. Understood, everyone now? Yeah. Basically, it stops where it finds false. Very good, Udit. Basically, it will stop where it finds false, so it will print 0. It will print 0. This is called short circuiting. Now tell me, if the beginning itself is 0, do you think the next operations will be checked? Do you think the next operations will be checked? No need, right? No need, because the first one is 0, so the otherwise it will not check the other one. Same is true with our subjects, guys. Same is true with our subjects. Even if you have many subjects, if the first subject itself results like 39 and this results something like 49, then if the first results false, it will not check the other part. It will not check the other part. So don't you think that it saves time? Don't you think it saves time now? That's what, for performance wise, they have added this short circuit concept. For performance wise, they have added this short circuit concept. So I have to navigate, guys, because after login I was not able to see the chat. Okay, so I have to always check your chat. Now you can see here, when I run this code, the result will be 0 now. I hope you all understood now. If the first one is true, it will check the other one. If the first one is false, it will not check the other one. Okay, okay, let me check the other questions now. Okay, let me check the other questions. Okay, 1 and hello. Let's see who will answer this. 1 and hello. 1 and hello. Okay. Okay, why people are thinking? It's very straightforward. Very good. Hello. Right? It will print hello. Not true, Rajshekhar. It will never print true or false. Okay? It never prints true or false when you use with non-boolean type. Non-boolean type means it can be integer, it can be string, any type actually. That's what we are talking about. This is for aptitude point of view only. We will not use them in programming language, but this knowledge will help. Okay, Vishwajit, I will explain again. So you know one means true, right? One means true. In and what happens if it is true? In and what happens if it is true? Second one need to be checked or not? That's what my question actually. That's what Udit. It checks the second one. It checks the second one. Okay, yeah, we'll talk about empty string means false actually. So it will print empty string ubul in that case. But here it will check the second one. That's why the output is hello. That's why the output is hello here now. Getting the point? One and hello will get you hello here because true and true actually. True and true. Okay, let us ask the next question. Let us ask the next question. 10 or divided by 10 divided by 0. 10 divided by 0. You know, when you try to divide anything with 0, you will get an exception. You try to divide anything with 0, you will get an exception. Like for example, I'll show you without this. For example, when I try to divide with 0, I'll get this error, division by 0 error, because computer system cannot define with 0. Now tell me, if I say 10 or 10 divided by 0, what will be the output now? Oh, sorry, I need to use them. Oh, so 10 or 10 divided by 0. What will be the output for this? Okay, some of you thinks error and most of you thinks it will print 10. Very good. The answer is 10 guys, not error. The answer is 10. Very good. Why the answer is 10? Because in OR, if the first one is true, do we need to check the second one? Reverse of AND. Because in OR we know that if any one is true, the result will be true. That is how it uses intelligence guys. It intelligence. If I ask you the same question, if I ask you the same question, that's true, it's an OR operator. If I ask you the same question, there is 100 expression. If the first one result true, will you check that 99 expression, Udit? Will you check that 99 expressions? No, because it's time waste. We all know that the expression is anyhow going to result true. Why to check all other expression? So this is called short circuiting. Meaning even C, Java, all the users short circuit guys. Okay, all the users short circuit, that it will not check the remaining things because it will be waste of time. So that's why it will result you 10. It proves that second one is not checking. Second one is not checking. If I write the same expression with and, what do you think the answer will be? What do you think the answer will be now? Such kind of questions you may expect in interviews. What will be answer now? 10 and 10 divided by 0. Very good. So will the second expression evaluated? That's our question. The second expression will be evaluated? Yes, yes, Anjali. It will be evaluated because first one is true. In and it will evaluate second one. So that's the difference between or and actually. Because in and we learn that as Ubul says that it will keep checking unless he founds 0. It keeps checking. In or, if first one is true, it will not check the other one. If first one is false, then only it will check the other one. So that's why this means true. So it will check the second one and the expression results false. So that's why we will get an error now. So this will give you an error. This will give you an error. Same thing I wrote in OR, I got 10 as an output. Same thing I wrote here, we got 0 as an output. 10 or hello will print 10, Vishwajit. 10 or hello will print 10. Understood? Because it will never check hello. Got the point, Vishwajit? If the first one is true in OR, it will not check the second one. 10 or hello. 10 is a true. If it is true, do we need to check the second one in OR? Vishwajit? Do we need to check the second one in OR? And we will check, because if it is true, second can be false. Very good, Satyam. No need to check. So that's why the output will be 10. That's why the output will be 10 here now. Yeah, 0 or 10 will be 10 again, SK. Means the output of logical operator not limited to only true or false. It may be anything. 100%, Kudal. 100%. If you use with non-boolean type, that's what our topic actually. That's what our topic. We can apply logical operator for any data type which is non-boolean. If you use with non-boolean, then you have to remember these two rules. Please take down these rules. Okay, so you have to remember these two rules whenever you apply this for non-logical operators. Okay, so if first one is false, it will go to check second one until it finds true. Yes, we have to more practice in this through example for perfection. Definitely, Satyam. But generally in programming, we will not come across this problem, Satyam. Okay, but in some aptitude questions, we come across with this. So we'll try to put some aptitude questions for you. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, so now let me ask few more questions to conclude now. So this is all for logical operator for today. Let me ask you a few questions. Can you tell me what is zero or hello, hello, and one? Let's see who will answer. Zero or hello and one. Oh, I'm getting different answers. So we need practice. That's true. Okay, let me explain once again. Okay, it's very simple, guys. Very simple. Zero means false, right? Zero means false. In OR, if first one is false, do we need to check the second one? Yes, needed. Yes, Satyam. Because it can be true. In AND, it is what you're talking about, AND. In OR, if the first one is true, then we will not check it. But if the first one is false, we'll check the second one in OR because it can be true. So, first one is false, we will check the second one. And in AND, if the first one is true, do we need to check the next one? Yes, yes, we need to check the next one because it can be false. So that's why this will execute, and this will execute. The output will be 1 in this case. The output will be 1. Getting my point? Okay. So now shall we conclude that you understood this important point? Still, if you didn't follow, you have time. No problem. You can practice this kind of thing. Okay, we'll do some more problems now. Okay, some more. Okay, 0 or 20. 0 or 20. Tell me, 0 or 20. Very good. 20. Now it's perfect. It's sorry, I put O actually. I think we will get error. It's 0. Okay, or 20. So obviously 20. Perfect. Now following. Next question. Next question. 10 or 20. 10 or 20. 10. Very good. Okay, so that's what I can see that you all understood now. Okay, 10 and 20, 10 or 20 will be 10 because in OR, if the first one is false, then only it will check the second one. And in OR, if the first one is true, it will not check the second one. That's the thing. That's the truth table, right? So you need to understand the truth table properly, and you need to decide that in AND. Let me conclude here now. Okay, let me conclude the things here. So what happens in and what happens in OR? Let me write it down. So what happens in AND? Okay, if okay, if first expression result true, first expression result true, okay, it will not check remaining expressions. It will not check. Does it check remaining expressions or not? What do you think? If first expression results true, Will it check the second expression? Yes, actually it will check. So the statement should be something like this. In AND, if the first expression results false, then it will not check other expressions. Other expressions. Otherwise, otherwise it will check. Otherwise, it will check. Okay, until found false, until found false or zero. Got my point? If first expression results false, then it will not check the thing. Otherwise, it will check until it found false. Okay, and print the result and print the same and print the expression. That's what it will print. In OR, what will happen is if first expression results true, okay, then it will not check other expression. It will not check other expression. Otherwise, otherwise it will check. It will check until found for true. Okay, non-zero. Anything. It can be string or anything, and print the expression. And print the expression. So this is the conclusion for and or. This is called short circuiting. I hope it will be helpful. Did you all got it, guys? So please confirm so that we'll take leave, and tomorrow we'll talk about next operators. Okay? Yeah, thank you, Saif. Thank you, Vishwajit. Thank you, Bull. Thank you, Prashanti. Thank you, Snehal. Yeah, thank you, Rajshekhar. Thank you, Anjali. Yeah, thank you, Vishwajit. Have a nice day. Bye. And sorry for today. We'll make sure next time we'll be ready with alternative resources so that we'll not face any problem. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for waiting. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, guys. See you tomorrow. Yeah. Thank you, Satyam. Thank you, Aditi. So we'll take a leave now. We'll see you tomorrow.